In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about costume mishaps, how we enjoy Brussels sprouts, joycon sword fighting, and Cam, no! Cam, yes! In our discussion of The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich by Deya Muniz. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult, and sometimes other, like this time, books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're going to discuss cheese.
Cheese!
Grilled cheese.
Cheese!
The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich by Deya Muniz.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, oh my gosh.
Sad.
Please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up.
Yeah.
Cheese!
Cheese. I like the fact that it's like grilled cheese is not a metaphor.
Nope. Actual grilled cheese.
Actual grilled cheese. Do you have any background information about actual grilled cheese?
I do, a little bit. Yes, in fact. So the back of this book has a really delightful story.
Oh, it's precious in and of itself.
Yes, it's so precious. So I thought that I would share a little bit of that. They started working on this story in a class, and so they were trying to decide what they were going to do, how they were going to tell the story, what it was going to be about, but they knew it was going to be about, a princess and an engagement. And so they got this idea from an actual encounter that they had with their now wife, Emily. So they were walking the dog, and Emily offered to make them grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch. And, I'm sorry, but Deya didn't know about making grilled cheese sandwich with butter on both sides of the bread, which makes me really sad for them. But they also used Kraft cheese, which is the best cheese, arguably, for a grilled cheese sandwich. But anyway, they started making their own sandwiches. And in this instance, they had already eaten a sandwich that day for breakfast, and so they had to turn down the sandwich that Emily was going to make, which made her very mad. And that actually takes place in the book, and it's adorable, and then that's how they knew that it was going to be called The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. And then there's a whole lot more about the wedding dresses at the end, and it's precious.
I love that bit.
And they weren't allowed to see each other's dresses, and then it's illustrated in the book, and it's just so pretty. Anyway. It's adorable.
I love love.
I typically don't. But I really like this book.
I love love when it's precious as all hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But this isn't this is a love story, but it's not just a love story. It's about finding yourself.
Yes.
Self-reflection.
Yes.
It's deeper.
It's deeper.
And it's about grilled cheese.
And it's about grilled cheese, which is very important.
Which is what I love.
Right.
I love grilled cheese.
Yes.
I love cheese.
Yes.
I also love the story and I love the artwork and all of it. I love it all.
Oh my gosh.
But,
I have pictures of panels that I really, really liked. Guys, I just had to take pictures of them so I could remember to talk about them. But, it's so good. It's so good. Did you have any additional initial thoughts, or is it just love, 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 love?
Love, 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 cheese.
Yes, I think
love
that's
cheese.
Yeah, I think that's good. I'm so glad that we finally got to talk about this book, because we've been talking about this book since it came out, since before it came out.
Since before it came out, because I remember telling you how excited I was that I had it on pre-order.
Yes.
And then my pre-order got extended, and like I think I like tearfully messaged you, and I was like, oh, and you were like, it's okay, and then I managed to get it sooner.
Yes.
And it's, I think it'll be coming up to a year, I think, since release.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But we wrote our entire monthly theme this month. Maybe not to include this book. Because it's
got the munchies.
Got the munchies.
Read a book that has food in it, and the food item can be arguably anything.
Anything. Because...
or anyone.
Yeah, I was going to say, because some of the other books that we're talking about this month...
Oh, I've started reading the last book in the month, and within a few pages it tells me what she was forced to eat, and I was like, oh.
And then you were like, oh. I can understand why Amanda likes this book so much.
I think the book theme was also created for that one as well, so I'm happy.
Yes,
I'm
also
happy.
for the one that we're covering next week. Like,
Okay, we plan these things out. Believe it or not, people, we actually do have some plan. No, it's not 100% of a plan, but there's a plan.
There is a plan. All right. Are you ready?
Let's get into the summary.
Okay.
Yes. Go.
At Count Camembert's estate in Gougère, the servants are listening to Count Camembert berate his daughter for turning down the proposal of yet another perfectly fine young man in possession of a fortune. To be fair, he was gross and had absolutely no style at all. But... also, to be fair, all 4 suitors have been gross. And actually, no male suitor will do because Lady Camembert doesn't like men. And her father knows this. Count Camembert lets his daughter know that he is dying and has been pushing marriage on her to secure her future because a woman alone cannot inherit. So, she needs a husband. Count Camembert knows the law is nonsensical and ridiculous, and he wants his daughter to be happy, so he proposes another way. If Lady Camembert is unwilling to marry a man, she must become one. Upon her father's imminent death, Lady Camembert must disguise herself as his son and lead a quiet life, drawing no attention to herself. All servants but Feta, the one who's been with her since she was a baby, should be dismissed. Her dresses should be burned. She should move to the capital, Fondue, and spare no expense ensuring her disguise is convincing. She will become Count Camembert.
It's a fine plan. However, there is one drawback. Cam is bored. Feta, ever cautious and protective of Cam, insists to stick to her father's plan. Cam can't take it anymore though and puts on her fake sideburns to go out, flat out refusing to cut her hair to help her disguise.
I love her sideburns so much.
I love the fact that the only disguise she really puts on are sideburns. It is such a Clark Kent Superman style of disguise. Anywho, on a completely harmless walk, Cam spots a poster advertising the No Fur Ball hosted by Crown Princess Brie. Cam is enthralled, and Feta is unimpressed, but there is nothing that is going to stop Cam from going. Cam has wanted to meet the princess for years, and this is her opportunity. Despite her worries, Feta agrees to help Cam. It's the most she's smiled in months.
At the Royal Palace of Fromage, Cam makes the entrance. Everyone is talking about his outfit, but they think he'll be arrested for it. When Princess Brie spots him, it looks like that might be true, as she is fuming. When Princess Brie calls him out for wearing fur at a no-fur ball, can he not read? Cam corrects her misinterpretation. He is wearing a white faux fur wrap that looks and feels like real mink, an innovative new material developed by Maison de Gorgonzola from his hometown. Flirting outrageously, Cam offers Bree a feel of the rap and admits to being a fan of her activism for years. Bree is somewhat discombobulated by Cam and the rap and storms off.
A few days later, Feta wakes Cam by smacking her with the newspaper with Cam's face all over the front page. While Feta is raging and worried Cam's secret will be found out, Cam is blasé about the whole thing, but excited to read that Maison de Gorgonzola has opened a shop in Fondue. Ooh. What Cam has failed to see is the huge pile of letters and invitations everyone wants Mr. Forfait at their events. Cam finally understands Feta's worry. Cam has the right to have a life, but she also realises she may have gone a teeny tiny bit overboard and will lie low until things blow over. 2 weeks later, no. It's the exact opposite. If anything, it's gotten worse. Surely, amongst all the invitations, is something low-key Cam can attend. As Cam runs off to get ready, Feta realises the letter is from the palace. Camembert! No!
Oh, I feel like anytime Camembert no is mentioned, it's actually Camembert yes.
Not from Feta, it's not.
But then from Cam, yes. Yes.
Cam does not understand Feta saying no.
No. Cam heads to the palace where Princess Bree is having tea with Lady Ricotta. An old friend spills the tea that Bree has talked about him non-stop. And new acquaintance, Lady Gorgonzola, who has been running Maison de Gorgonzola since her husband passed away. Cam is a huge fan of Lady Gorgonzola's work and is awestruck. Since Lady G is also from Gougere and her husband was often in business with Count Camembert, she knows that the old Count never had any sons. But before she can let that slip, Princess Bree's pup Gouda interrupts. Phew. What a good doggo.
Good doggo. Princess Bree has invited Cam and Lady Gorgonzola to help organise the next event. Rather than telling high society what not to do, she wants to show them that fashion doesn't need to involve harming animals. A second ball would be gauche, so Lady Gorgonzola suggests a runway show. That's too obvious. Cam, however, suggests an exhibit with models standing on pedestals as if they were sculptures with plaques describing their outfits, with the bonus that lesser-known brands will be elevated to fine art, darling. Genius! They celebrate with food, and Cam is overjoyed to see grilled cheese sandwiches amongst the goodies. Cam loves grilled cheese.
Same, Cam. Same,
yeah.
When Cam gets home, Feta is in a foul mood and fully expects to see Cam's face across the front page of the newspapers with the crown princess of Fondue. Feta also doesn't seem to share Cam's enthusiasm about meeting Lady Gorgonzola and how she's a woman running a business. Feta's mood goes from unamused to angry when Cam tells her about helping to organize the fashion exhibit. It seems that Cam has maybe forgotten what the phrase low profile means.
I don't even think it was in Cam's dictionary.
Cam, yes.
Cam works with Brie, Ricotta and Gorgonzola to put the exhibit together, finding the right pieces and models, putting together floor plans, interceding when things become heated, and later being a cushion for the exhausted princess to fall asleep on. When Cam gets home at 7 a.m. after sleeping with the princess, Feta, who was worried sick, realises Cam is crushing hard on the princess.
So hard.
What? That's ridiculous. Yeah, Cam is not convincing anyone.
No.
Particularly Feta, who seems to have been broken by this realisation. does not compute.
Cam takes this opportunity, while Feta is stunned, to ask her to model in the upcoming exhibit. They want natural-looking people, not the carbon copies the agencies keep sending them, and she instantly thought of Feta. Feta, seeing that, well, they're all doomed anyway, she agrees. On the day of the exhibit, Feta looks amazing in her sage green gown and finally gets to meet Bree. She also sees how Cam and Bree interact and realizes it is not an itty-bitty crush that Cam has. It is a very big crush.
Oh, yes. The fashion exhibit goes off without a hitch. Bree, Ricotta and Cam are ready to toast a huge success while Gorgonzola is stunned with the amount of orders she has and has to rush home to get started on work. Ricotta soon follows and Feta collects a very reluctant to leave Cam, leaving Bree confused as to why Feta was so very insistent. When Cam and Feta get home, Cam doesn't let Feta speak. She insists it's a small crush. She isn't foolish enough to think that they could ever be more than friends. And friend is what Bree is. Cam, no.
Cam, yes. The following morning, Bree confesses to Ricotta that she has feelings for Cam. Ricotta is fine being woken up early for gossip, and when Bree admits something happened the night before, her eyes go wide with intrigue, and the panel is absolutely precious. Unfortunately, it wasn't kissing, as Ricotta and Gorgonzola had hoped. It was that Cam left with Feta. It feels like Cam wants to get closer, but is actively avoiding her. But why? As interesting as living under a fake identity might be, it's also an absurd speculation, and it's more likely that Cam's rank is too low to marry a princess. What do you mean? What do you mean there's a fake identity involved? That's ridiculous. That's absurd.
Shifty side eye.
Shifty side burn.
Later, Cam meets up with Bree and Ricotta to go shopping. Gorgonzola is too busy and too frazzled with all the new orders to attend. As Cam is looking at the new Gucci's winter collection, Ricotta reminds Bree to come on to Cam heavy. Flirt mode is on. Bree asks about Gucci's, and Cam is a font of information and is passionate about the fashion house and its collections. In the end, Bree offers to give Cam a tour of her closet, including the vintage Ched Dior, while Ricotta is giving her the thumbs up in the background, which I adore. Yay! Grilled cheese to celebrate!
Yay! I love the ridiculous names of the fashion lines.
The Gucci's and Ched Dior is just mwah. Honestly.
On Thursday, Cam heads to the palace with Gorgonzola. No, that wasn't Bree's flirty plan, but...
Cam, no!
Cam, yes. But there is the promise of the vintage Ched Dior. You can't keep Gorgonzola away. As kind as Cam's invitation was to Gorgonzola to give her a break from work, Bree wanted time alone and pours her heart out and just cries all over the place to Ricotta later. Ricotta suggests Bree trick him, but Bree wants their relationship to develop organically. Surely patience will win. No. The trip to the cinema, the snowball fight, the arm wrestling, and the afternoon tea are all accompanied by their friends and end with Cam leaving early. Yeah, Bree's gonna have to trick Cam into falling for her. It's the only way. Bree's just gonna propose to Cam the next time they're alone. Wait, what? We're proposing?
Bree, no!
Bree, yes. Ricotta was just thinking, maybe they could have a courtship. Nah. Bree loves Cam, and she knows that he feels the same way, so it just makes sense to get married. Bree has won Ricotta over, and she agrees to help however she can.
One day, Cam heads to brunch at the palace and Ricotta takes her leave. Not exactly smoothly, but it leaves Bree and Cam alone. At last. Seductively, Bree asks Cam, "What do you say we have grilled cheese sandwiches with a side of tomato soup?" Ooh. Despite the hearts in Cam's eyes, Cam declines. Apparently, Feta is feeling competitive with the palace grilled cheese and already fed him today. Cam is sheepishly admitting this and brushes his hair behind his ear, taking with it the fake sideburn. Bree sees it and ends their brunch immediately. In the privacy of her rooms, Bree realises the truth. Cam is a girl.
And all it takes
Cam, no!
is the one sideburn.
One sideburn.
Feta is shocked that Cam is home so early and agrees that Bree kicking her out was weird. As Cam is saying she's kind of worried, Feta notices Cam's sideburn is missing. Ah, crud. Cam must stop playing with her hair. Look, it's hard. It is hard to not play with your hair, especially when it's so long. How many times have I already flipped my hair back and forth during this episode? 1,000.
My hair isn't even as long as yours, and I'm always playing with it.
Feta leaves to buy nail polish and some sideburn glue, leaving Cam to think. Meanwhile, at the palace, Bree is lost in her own thoughts. The next day, Cam doesn't receive an invitation to brunch at the palace, which makes her worry even more. Feta makes her grilled cheese to cheer her up.
Days go by with Cam sitting by the mailbox, hiding in her blanket, feeling overly confident, and then crying into her grilled cheese. But still, there are no invitations. Finally, when Cam has retreated to her bed, a letter is delivered from Gorgonzola. She's having an event to unveil her new collection, and at first Cam is reluctant to go until Feta points out Bree might be there.
There is a crowd outside Maison de Gorgonzola. As Cam is asking Gorgonzola if she's seen Bree, as it's been over a month for him, and he's worried that he upset her, Bree walks in, looking stunning. Cam tries to kiss her hand, but Bree pulls back. Bree's slight toward Cam is super obvious, and Gorgonzola asks what's the matter. Bree denies everything, but Gorgonzola calls them both terrible liars. Anyway, the big event must continue.
After, as Bree, Cam and a few others are talking about Cam's entrance at the No Furs ball, Bree makes some snappish comments, clearly upset with Cam despite her denial. When the comments turn hurtful, Gorgonzola shuts the princess up and calls an end to the evening. Gorgonzola clearly knows Cam is pretending to be a boy and is hurt by Bree's behaviour. When Cam returns home, Feta is playing Switch, and as she takes off her boy disguise, she tells Feta that Bree does hate her. She made it abundantly clear, but it's okay. It will help her get over her crush. Cam is calmly resigned as she heads to bed.
At the palace the next day, Gorgonzola calls Bree out about how she treated Cam and how it's plain to everyone that they have feelings for each other. Bree is reluctant to talk about it, but Gorgonzola is relentless, especially when the reputation of a friend is at stake. Bree kicks Gorgonzola out before having a good old cry. Meanwhile, Cam has entered her dark pit of despair era. I love these panels too. She's playing Switch in her bedroom with the curtains closed and her makeup is smeared all over her face. She's blasting breakup music and she has half-eaten snack food and other garbage just everywhere. It's a huge mess and it's fantastic, especially the streaming mascara.
The mascara. You just look at the panel, yeah, that's a mood.
It's so good. Gorgonzola has written to Cam, but she refuses to read the letter. Feta, however, won't take no as an answer and drags Cam out of her pit to go shopping after a much-needed shower.
Girl, you stink. Camembert, no. Unfortunately, Feta's plan backfires almost immediately as they run into Princess Bree. Unexpectedly, Bree apologises to Cam for her recent rude behaviour and asks Cam to her upcoming ball. She would have apologised sooner, but she's been busy, what with, planning a ball, diplomatic trips, and likely getting engaged to the Duke of Brussels Sprout soon. Wait, what?
Excuse me, what? No.
Cam is able to keep her broken heart together until she and Feta get home. Hopeless and heartsick, Cam takes to her bed.
At the palace, Bree is having tea with Gorgonzola, who spits it out when Bree tells her she's likely going to be engaged to the Duke of Brussels Sprout soon. Gorgonzola knows Sprout is the most boring man and declares a political alliance is no reason to marry, despite the king's desires. Bree is a terrible liar, and it's obvious she's choosing to marry Sprout because of Cam. Once the servants have been dismissed for privacy, Gorgonzola tells Bree she knows Cam is a girl.
Meanwhile, Ricotta stumbles upon Cam sitting alone in the park. Ricotta, who has been away for a while, is under the impression the wedding preparations must be taking a toll on Cam. Ricotta is quickly corrected in her misinterpretation by Cam breaking down in floods of tears. Ricotta doesn't know that Cam and Bree weren't getting married, but that Bree is marrying Brussels Sprout instead.
Poor Ricotta. Ricotta does...
She's just disappeared and then she's back again. She's like, what?
What is happening? Back at the palace, Gorgonzola reminds Bree she is from Gougere too, and she knew that Count Camembert never had any sons, and says that Cam has done a terrible job keeping her identity a secret, really. Literally, she's just wearing sideburns. Besides, not really her place to say anything, because snitches get stitches.
Yes.
Bree, now that the shock of finding out has gone, appreciates that there must be a good reason for Cam's deception and wants to stay friends. Friends? Friends? Regardless of Cam being a man or woman, Bree is in love.
At the park, Ricotta can't believe her ears. Brussels Sprout is the single most boring man who has ever lived. Cam doesn't even remember him, even though he's been at every event. Ricotta thought Bree was proposing the day of their last brunch, but she hasn't heard from her the entire time she's been away. Back at home, Cam throws a Gucci's vest on the floor and declares she wants to live on a desert island in seclusion with only her clothes. Cam tells Feta that Ricotta told her about the planned proposal. It's all a confusing, complicated, chaotic mess.
Yes. Ricotta is venting to Gorgonzola as the fashion designer is creating a new design. Ricotta is sure Cam rejecting the grilled cheese threw Bree off her proposal, and that's the reason for this whole debacle. Sure. But to whiplash and go for Brussels sprout? It makes no sense. Politics be damned. Ricotta is going to meddle. Gorgonzola, knowing the full truth and knowing both Bree and Cam are stubborn, will not help meddle.
Ricotta sends letter after letter to Cam and each goes ignored, so eventually she turns up on Cam's doorstep. But she's in her room getting ready. Her boobies are on show.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, her immensables. Thankfully, Ricotta is being the opposite of stealthy, and Cam is able to quickly get dressed. The poor Feta chased Ricotta the whole way, trying to stop her from seeing Cam's boobies. Boobies. Ricotta is not happy that Cam is planning on moving away and that she found out at the palace when Cam noted it on the RSVP. So, Cam is just running away and not fighting for Bree at all. Cam tells Ricotta to mind her own business and escorts her out. Ta-ta!
Boobies.
boobies.
At the palace, Gorgonzola is making the finishing touches to Brie's ball gown. Despite it being a breathtaking creation, Brie is sad. Gorgonzola packs up her things and starts to leave, but she can't not say something. Gorgonzola tells Brie she's the most powerful woman in the kingdom and is throwing away her happiness. She was once stuck in a loveless marriage of convenience with no rights to own a business because she's a woman and no way to showcase her talent except through her husband, who took all the accolades. It was no way to live, but it was the least miserable option she had, and likely Cam is in the same situation. There will be plenty of people less fortunate doing the exact same things, but Brie has the power to actually do something to change the system.
It's the day of the ball and nobody is getting ready with any enthusiasm. The ball guests notice how sad Brie is looking despite an engagement being traditionally a happy event. Gorgonzola and Ricotta are busy drinking champagne and wondering where Cam is. And speaking of Cam, they make a dramatic, if slightly subdued entrance, easily upstaging Sprout. All heads turn towards Cam as he greets Brie. Brie asks to speak to Cam in private, so they head to the balcony. As Brie is gathering her thoughts, Cam nervously plays with his hair, causing the sideburn to come off again. Brie puts it back in place and tells Cam that's how she figured it out. Cam instantly starts to fret. Feta is sitting at home, surrounded by moving boxes, knowing something is wrong, so she grabs her coat and heads to the ball.
On the balcony, Cam is panicking, made worse when she's told Gorgonzola figured it out ages ago. Brie reassures her no one's going to jail and no one is going to tell. As Cam pours her heart out to Brie, Brie takes her face in her hands and kisses her. Yay! Which is, of course, interrupted by a servant looking for the princess. There's nothing to see here. Nothing is happening. Brie heads back inside, leaving a dazed Cam on the balcony.
Inside, Feta has arrived and found Ricotta and Gorgonzola. A wobbly Cam soon joins them. Suddenly, Brussels Sprouts clinks his glass for attention. Ricotta tells Cam that only she can stop what is about to happen. Cam drags Feta to the kitchen and tells her she needs to make a grilled cheese. She has a proposal to hijack. As Brussels Sprout whistles on using notes, because he's a prick, Ricotta grabs Gouda from a servant and tells the pup to find Mommy. Gouda does not like Brussels Sprout and causes a ruckus.
In the kitchen, Cam is doing a horrible job of making the grilled cheese, so Feta takes over. This grilled cheese is too important, and no one needs the palace kitchen to go up in flames. In the ballroom, Gouda has proven once again to be a good doggo. 14 out of 10 would use her to interrupt the world's most boring and unromantic proposal again. As the heckling starts, Brussels Sprout gets down on one knee, pulls out a box with an engagement ring, and asks Brie to marry him.
As Brie opens her mouth to give Brussels Sprout an answer, Cam stuffs the grilled cheese sandwich in. Their eyes lock. Sprout is a forgotten pile on the floor. As the Duke protests, Brie tells him no, and the servant drags him away. Cam gets down on one knee then, kisses Brie's hand, and while Brie eats her grilled cheese sandwich, she proposes. In answer, Brie gets down on her knee and proposes to Cam. They gather each other up and cry and kiss and keep telling each other, I love you. The proposal is the talk of the kingdom, as is the princess's announcement to reform inheritance law.
It's the wedding day!
Yay!
Gorgonzola, of course, designed the wedding outfits. Ricotta is dying to see Brie's dress and wonders if Cam will be in a proper tux. But Gorgonzola and Feta have a giggle about that. God, Ricotta. Oh my God.
Oh, sweet summer child.
The bridal music starts, but hang on. Why is Cam not already at the front? What is going on? Gouda is the flower pup walking down the aisle before Brie steps out looking ethereal in her white and pink gown. Cam meets Brie at the top of the aisle, looking exquisite in her black and silver gown. Holding hands, they walk down the aisle together, and the truth finally clicks for Ricotta.
Yay! Yay for love! And yay, the truth finally clicks.
Oh, poor Ricotta. She did not know what was going on the entire time.
He's clueless.
Oh.
Oh, poor thing.
Oh. So good. Such a good ending.
Right, let's go and eat some grilled cheese while everybody listens to a promo for another podcast.
Okay, I like it.
Hi, this is Leah Stuhler, creator and host of YA Book Chat podcast. If you love reading young adult books and chatting about them with your friends, then head on over to my podcast and take a listen. Each episode, my guest and I chat about a different YA book. We start spoiler-free and then head into our spoiler section where we dive into the mysteries of each book. And we do it with laughs and fun along the way. You can listen to YA Book Chat on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcast. And now, back to the show.
Okay.
I think I've worked out why Ricotta doesn't realise what the heck's going on.
Why?
It's because she's not a mature cheese.
Oh, she's a young, fresh cheese.
Yeah, I think that might be why.
Yep, I think you might be right. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the story. I mean, I know I have a lot of panels that I really like, but like overall, the fact that Ricotta like has no idea what's going on the entire time, it's one of my favorite things.
That actually, just jumping ahead a little bit, is actually my surprise.
Same.
Thank you. That Ricotta just doesn't realise that Cam was a girl. And you know, the other part of that surprise is she was never even told after the proposal and before the wedding. Nobody told her that Cam was actually a girl. But then I also think everybody's got that one friend who was absolutely 100% clueless.
Yes.
And it's just funny to let them find out in a more organic
Yes.
way. Which is one of my favourite panels as well, where
Yes.
Bree goes organically and it's in rainbows.
There's so many good panels. Now I have to pull out my phone.
Oh, okay.
Find.
I've got pictures as well. Let's have a look.
Okay, so I really love this one. And this is going to not be good for listeners, but it's the scene where Feta is like, well, fine, you know, we're doomed. We might as well have some fun. But it's just these eyeballs
Yes.
are the best thing ever.
I think that the easiest way is like tripping balls eyeballs, you know, when they're just big and black.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like like you put googly eyes on.
Yes.
But they're so good. The art is really fantastic.
The art style is absolutely delicious.
Because like they're all like drawn so they're all of the ladies are so pretty. But then every now and again someone will be drawn like a weird kind of very simplistic style with crazy eyeballs and weird stuff happening. And it's just precious. Yes.
Yeah. Like the scene when Feta's putting on the green dress for the exhibit and they're talking about, well, Cam is talking about bottoms.
Yes.
And Bree's like, you'd stop talking about bottoms. It's like the art style goes into that bit more comic.
Yep.
Comical, and it's just, I love those panels.
Yes, that's like skipping really far ahead. That's one of my favorite final thought quotes. This whole thing, everything, this entire page, I love it.
I think that entire
the whole butt
thing,
conversation is just
the
great.
whole butt conversation was brilliant. Yes. Yeah, it was just a delightful story. I was so excited to read it. And it's nice. I mean, I read it last year. This isn't the first time I've read it. I was so excited to read it when I found out about it. And it did not disappoint. And reading again this year for the podcast, it stood up again.
Yeah.
It stood up again, and that's delightful because, you know, obviously we do reread a lot of stories. It's one of the ways we get the books on the schedule. And it's nice when they actually stand up to that test of time as well.
Yeah.
And I know it hasn't been a long time. I know it's just a year. But still, I remembered it fondly and it stayed that way.
Yeah. Something else that I enjoyed, which I found it interesting, and I didn't quite understand it, but I still liked it. We're playing Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I enjoyed the mix of like the Regency kind of era, but then all of a sudden having packets of chips and crisps and Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
I enjoyed that.
But you're sending letters to invite someone to come to brunch.
But there's no mobile phones.
Right, but there is a Nintendo Switch.
But there is a Nintendo Switch. Yes, I really loved that.
What game do you think they're playing? Because Feta's playing at one point, right? And then Cam is playing later. What game? What games do you think they would play?
Zelda.
You think so?
Zelda. I think they've obviously got Animal Crossing on the go as well.
Sure.
Feta seemed to be quite aggressive. No, there was a panel when it's a panel when it's not funny because poor Cam. It's when Cam's in depressed era and playing Switch.
Yes, the
which
makeup.
is one of the best panels in the entire thing, and really quite aggressively going for it. So I think it's either Mario Kart or Hades.
Yes. Yeah. I love the fact that she's obviously wearing makeup and is obviously always wearing makeup, because I mean you would not just have your mascara on if you've been, sad and in bed for the past few days. Like that's a learned thing. That's a I get out of bed and put my makeup on every single day kind of habit. And so obviously when we're hanging out with our friends and we're pretending to be a man, we're still wearing our makeup.
But then I think that's very much the world, which actually works in Cam's favour as trying to be passing as a boy, because even the boys of the aristocracy will wear mascara and eyeliner and will contour and wear fantastic, fabulous clothes.
Yes.
It's built in there that it's not abnormal for boy Cam to be obsessed with Gucci's and
and to just
Dior.
Be absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. So, but then the only other male we really get any kind of time with is boring Brussels sprout.
Yeah.
But he's a vegetable, so a root vegetable.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I love a Brussels sprout.
Oh yeah.
They're delicious, but
stir fried.
Oh, they're just roasted with like garlic and butter, and the outside gets crispy. I really want to eat.
I like the little burnt edges on it.
Oh,
it's
yes.
when if you cut them in half,
Yes.
so you just have more edges
Yes.
to then burn.
Oh,
yes.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I want
Even
some
my
Brussels
child, my 9-year-old, his favourite vegetable is a Brussels sprout.
Oh, they're so good.
He's such a weirdo, but yes.
Delicious.
Do like, as long as they're not overly done. When Brussels sprouts are too squishy.
Oh, if they get mushy, they're no good.
Oh,
No.
disgusting.
Ew. No.
Nah.
Nah, not a dog.
I don't like. I like my vegetables to have like a bit of tenderness to them.
Yeah.
Why am I talking about vegetables?
I don't know.
When I could be talking about cheese.
We should be talking about cheese, but like, I love that Brussels sprout is like the guy that she chooses to marry. And he's clearly the worst. Like, his proposal takes forever. It takes long enough for him to propose from his handwritten note cards that Cam and Feta can run into the palace kitchen and make a grilled cheese sandwich. And he's still reciting from his note cards.
And hasn't finished reciting from the note cards, because the only reason he starts to actually propose is because he's getting heckled from the crowd.
So bad. Oh, but why did it have to be a Brussels sprout? Is that like the worst vegetable? The worst, most boring
I think
vegetable?
it's probably the one that's being... It's probably the one that's universally understood to be not great.
Yeah.
Like, you're forced to eat them at Christmas kind of
Yeah.
vegetable.
Yeah.
I like a parsnip as well.
Same.
I do like a parsnip.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Anyway.
I really enjoyed the fact that grilled cheese was such an important part.
Yes.
And I really loved the way that the characters are all named after different cheeses, that the places are named after different cheeses. It really creates a world.
Yeah, it does. But then, like, you wonder, okay, so everybody here is cheese, and the capital city is fondue. Like, everything is cheese. And then you've got Brussels sprout. He's, I assume, from, a vegetable village. Like, yeah. Is there a town with bread? Is there a fruit town? And, like, if you notice, if you look this book up on Goodreads, this is The Princess and the Grilled Cheese 1.
Yes.
Which leads us to believe that there will be a Princess and the Grilled Cheese sandwich 2.
Yes. 4 slices of bread.
Yes.
Double sandwich.
I hope that we see more of the universe, and I really hope that there's a town with bread and everybody has bread names, and that there's also, more fruits and veggies all over the place.
I honestly believe that the kingdom of fondue can be in the same universe as Garlic and the Vampire / Garlic and the Witch.
Yes, I could see that. 100% I could see that.
I could honestly see that. It's like, expanded out.
Yeah.
Except that would imply the potential of Brussels sprout being from the same universe as garlic. And garlic is not. No. Celery, yeah.
Celery. Celery is such a jerk.
Jerk. Celery jerk. Anyway, yes.
Can I tell you that I remember, like, I did not read this when it first came out. I had the book checked out from the library, but it sat on my desk in my office, and, like, people came in and they were like, oh my gosh, that book looks so cute. Can I read it? And so, of course, I'd be like, well, I'm not reading it right now. So, of course, you can read it. And then it just got passed around all over the place. So I didn't get a chance to read it until just now. But it just looks so precious. And I remember flipping through, and I looked at the back, and I looked at the last pages, and I saw Cam. I just wanted to be Cam. I want to cosplay Cam so much because her hair's so long and pretty, and I just love her. I love Cam. She's my favorite.
I feel like if we lived near each other, we would be doing a cosplay of Cam and Brie.
Yes.
It's what would be happening.
I mean,
because it's just perfect.
We have cosplayed together before, Claire, not being in the same country.
I don't fit my wedding dress anymore. I mean, I could probably get it on, it just wouldn't tie up properly.
Well, I mean, we don't have to see the back of it.
That's true. That is true. It doesn't match that, though. My wedding dress is strapless. The boobs come out to play.
Your boobies are out.
The boobies. Yes.
I just love.
Do you remember on the internet there was a picture, and it was like, this person was like, I've just been to my friend's wedding, and the lesbians, and it's the greatest wedding I've ever been to, and they let me post these 2 pictures, and they're both wearing absolutely phenomenal wedding dresses. And honestly, if it was Deya Muniz and their wife Emily, I would not be surprised, but I don't think it is them. But because they're in a similar kind of opposing colour scheme dresses, and they've got swords, and they're doing the sword fighting.
Yes.
Do you remember those pictures?
I
honestly think two more pages on after the wedding, and there's going to be the pictures of them, of Brie and Cam, wielding swords.
I could believe it.
I could too.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of universe where there would be a sword fight.
Yes, definitely.
Or at least, pausing the swords.
Or they're playing a game on Switch where they have the joycons. And they're sword fighting with joycons.
Joy-Con sword fighting. That's amazing. I love it.
It's precious.
That's really tickled me. Oh. Okay, I want to say one more thing before I think we're probably going to move on a little bit.
Okay.
I really liked Cam's father, and he was in like 3 pages, if that. Most of it was spent at the funeral.
Yeah.
He clearly loves Cam, and he wants only the best for his daughter.
Yes.
And yes, okay, he knew Cam preferred women.
Yes.
But he never forced any of the marriages on Cam. It was just kind of like, well, what about this one? Will this one do? And, if she rejected, it may have annoyed him a little bit, but that's not because he's annoyed at Cam rejecting the suitor outright. It's because he's worried about her financial future. And the fact that he is like, okay, I'm dying. If you won't get married to a man to secure the inheritance of my estate, you're just going to have to take it on yourself and be my son.
Yeah, I really loved that. And also, I mean, like you said, he's not in it very much. He's just there for a few pages, but he's like, okay, so this is what you're going to have to do. I've got a townhouse in the capital. Nobody will know you when you go there. My clothes probably fit you, but you know what? If not, go buy some stuff. Go shopping. Go get you some nice outfits. And like, I thought that was really sweet. Cam has a very good dad.
Yes. And Feta was wonderful looking after. Feta is one of my favourite characters. Feta and Gorgonzola. I loved Feta because Feta was great on a salad.
Yes.
But also the fact that I liked her competitive spirit when it comes to making grilled cheese.
Yes.
She will, and she beat the palace, and she does beat the palace. You can tell on Bree's face when she's eating that grilled cheese at the proposal.
Yeah, then she gets the weird comic book character eyes. It happens.
Yes. But Feta clearly wants the best for Cam, but also wants to be protective. So for all the fact that Feta might not be biologically related to Cam, Feta is Cam's family.
Yeah, definitely.
And, there's a little bit of a, well, I can't beat them, so I'm going to have to join them mentality with Feta, which I kind of like feel sorry that she has to resign herself to that. But Feta sees all, she knows all, and she will help, which is the main thing. And when I'm on the subject of favourite characters... Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, I like that scene where she's like, well, we're doomed anyway. And as I am wont to do, just put on my sunglasses. Well, I'm going to hell anyway.
Yeah.
Bring it back to Twilight.
And then she looks amazing at the exhibit. And I do love the fact that they wanted natural people to be, and not the carbon copy skinny models they were getting. They wanted to sell the fashion properly to the masses rather than the elite.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
But my other favourite character was actually Gorgonzola. I loved Zola. Like, she was amazing because she was so freaking stoic like 98% of the time. But then there was also those panels like when she literally spits the tea out at Bree, and then there's the panel when she's put Bree in the dress for the engagement ball, and she leaves Bree to herself, and she's about to walk off, and she's not going to meddle. But then I really like that panel where you just see her like grip her hand suddenly gripping a bit tighter on her purse, and she turns around and she just kind of like tells Bree what the deal is for women in this kingdom that Brie obviously doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Because she's the crown prince. She has power and rights that others don't have. But Gorgonzola's obviously had to just fight for what she has. Like in Guer, where she made a name for herself, it wasn't her name. It was the husband.
Yeah. And then he took all the credit for it. Ugh.
He took all the credit. But she does admit, at least, he gave her enough freedom to start the business and enough freedom for her to be creative. But it was upsetting that he took all that credit.
Yeah, but you know what? He's dead.
He did.
Wah, wah.
And now, as a widow, she has that freedom of movement and property. And historically, it's correct. But in history, there's less Nintendo Switches and Joy-Con sword fighting.
Right. Just a little bit less.
Yeah. And obviously, Gorgonzola worked out freaking from the first second. She knew all the way through that Cam was a girl.
Right.
But kept the secret and respected. I mean, yes.
Snitches get stitches, yes.
But I love that. But also, there's nothing wrong with Cam and Brie loving each other.
Nope.
'Cause love is love. It's so sweet.
It's so good. It's such a good book.
It is. It is. What were your favourite character or characters?
Oh, Cam. Cam 100% is my favorite character. But you know, it's almost like two characters, because you've got Lady Cam when she's at home sobbing with her mascara on playing Nintendo Switch, and then you've got Gentleman Cam out in public looking handsome, wearing his sideburns. I don't know, I just love Cam. I love everything about Cam.
Burned Cam so much.
But I know what it's like. I know what it's like putting on, you know, stuff, putting on your cosplay stuff, putting on your gear, accidentally smearing your beard all over your face, knocking off your sideburn. Like, it happens. I get it. You need some better glue, but...
Cosplay mishaps.
Yeah.
It was a complete Clark Kent Superman for me. Like, the one thing that really turns Cam, Lady Cam to Count Cam, are sideburns.
Right? It's ridiculous. It's so good, though.
It is. I'm surprised we haven't talked about cheese more.
I know. But, you know, when we get to Would You Rather, our very first Would You Rather, which is, you know, where we are now, it's time for that, beep, 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 is all about cheese. So
That is true. Beep, beep. So we asked on social media, would you rather use Camembert, Brie, Gorgonzola or Feta in your grilled cheese sandwich? And outstandingly, Brie won.
It's because it's the only cheese that will melt on a sandwich. This question was ridiculous.
Camembert would melt. Camembert. I have many a time had a baked Camembert with some onion relish and, you know, your toast points. Freaking awesome. Mwah. Love it. If I see a baked Camembert on a restaurant menu, I just look at my husband and he's like, do you want to get the cheese? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, duh. What even kind of question is that?
I don't even think he asks anymore. He just looks at me and just nods.
Yeah.
It just moves on to the mains.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brie won 50% on Instagram and 62%. Sorry, 62% on Instagram and 50% on Facebook. Gorgonzola got no votes.
No. I'm surprised that Feta got any votes, because Feta would absolutely not work on a grilled cheese sandwich. Feta is delicious.
It's not the right melty texture.
No.
It's not the flavour I want in a grilled cheese.
No.
A Camembert and Brie mix would be feckin' awesome. And throw in some Gouda as well. I can be, and have demonstrated very recently, that I can be a nasty bitch when it comes to cheese. Like, I did something the other day and my hubby just looked at me and was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm enjoying my cheese break. I had a cheese break.
It's amazing.
Anywho.
It's amazing.
Anywho. Bree on Facebook said, Bree the person, not the cheese, I must go with my namesake Brie with bacon and blackberry jam. But camembert is a close second, and I will sneak a bit in for good measure. See, Brie knows what
Brie knows. Brie knows what's up, but she has to because
Brie
her name is
by
Brie.
Brie by nature.
Yes.
Exactly.
Annie on Facebook says Brie is awesome, and so is Vampire Book Club friend Brie Tart, so it's gotta be Brie.
Katrina on Facebook said, well, I usually like cheddar, but none of these are similar, so I'm going to go with feta. I recently made Bulgarian cheese on toast, which is crumbled feta mixed with eggs, popped onto bread and grilled until the eggs cooked. It was tasty. Now that does sound delicious.
That sounds pretty great. And I think I'm going to need to try that. So, yeah, thanks for that suggestion, Katrina. Claire on Facebook said, I like cheddar cheese, especially smoky cheddar, but I think camembert is gooey.
Smoked cheddar. I've got a red Leicester with garlic in the fridge. And a blue. And a brie. I may have bought cheese to take the picture for the...
Sure you did, Claire. That is the reason. That is the reason why you bought cheese.
Using the podcast as an excuse to buy cheese. PM. So Cuccini on Instagram said, I prefer gorgonzola in general, but it and feta aren't melted, so they're not great for grilled cheese sandwiches. Camembert isn't a stretchy kind of melty either, but it'll probably make the best grilled cheese out of the three.
Can I tell you that author friend Real Jackson Ford on Instagram, he sent me a message about the cheese options and he was very upset. And he wanted,
he can be upset,
he
but
wanted
it
me
needs
to
to
tell
be in the
you
book.
how upset he was with your cheese choices.
With my cheese choices, can you pick it up with the author, please?
But these are characters. We're not going to eat them. But that is how I'm choosing to answer the question, by the way, if we just skip ahead to my answer. I am choosing feta to help me make a grilled cheese because feta can make a good cheese sandwich. Ha ha ha. That's how I answer it. Feta the person makes a good grilled cheese sandwich.
Feta the person can take the brie that is in the actual question and use that to make a grilled cheese sandwich. And like Brie the person suggests throwing a bit of camembert for good measure.
Yeah.
Because it goes on nice and gooey.
Okay. Next question.
Good.
Would you rather participate in a runway show or art exhibit fashion show?
Art exhibit fashion show, because I have watched many seasons of America's Next Top Model.
Smiles.
And I know...
Smiles.
I know I could not do the runway because I would just like belt it down, belt it back up, probably fall on my arse.
I think I would choose the runway show because I feel like if I had to stand there, I would get tired of standing in one place. I mean, I'm sure they're allowed to move around, but I don't know. I think I would like to strut my stuff on the runway. And probably fall down and get tangled up in all of my clothes, but that's...
You are making up... Actually, if I can do the runway, but to Sissy That Walk by RuPaul, I'm there.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm doing that then.
Okay, yeah, good.
Okay, you're trying to woo your boo. Would you rather beat them at arm wrestling or a snowball fight?
Snowball fight. Snowball fight's more fun, I feel like. Arm wrestling, again, just makes me think of Twilight.
And why are you doing sort of arm wrestling? I'm going to extend that and actually just say arm wrestling, but it's a thumb fight.
Ooh, yeah, thumb wrestling is fine. We could thumb wrestle.
My hubby, bless his heart, rubbish at thumb wrestling. So I win like 99% of the time. Even though he can bend his thumb back weirdly far, I still manage to hook it. So I'm going to woo my boo by kicking his ass at thumb wrestling.
Have you ever leg wrestled?
No.
It is very fun, but you need a lot of space to do it. So you lay down on the ground and you put your hips together. Like one person is laying down one way and the other person is laying down the other way, and your hips are together, and you put your legs up in the air, and then you swing your legs and like you lock your legs together, and whoever flips over is the loser.
I would instantly win that. I have no strength in my legs at the moment because of injury. So I'm not doing that. And please do not DM the other half to let him know so he can then finally win.
It's really fun though. It's quite silly. That's what I would choose.
Okay, so we're wrestling.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. After months of keeping a low profile, you're going to the princess's no fur ball. Would you rather keep a low profile, thank goodness you're out of the house, or make a grand entrance? You're fabulous, darling, and you deserve the spotlight.
Fuck it, I'm making the grand entrance.
Oh yeah. We're not gonna Agatha this situation. We are not going to blend into the background. We're not going to actually, be the table.
I am not being the potted plant.
No. Your dress does not look like wallpaper. You do not blend into the background. You are not the wallflower.
We are not the wallflower, no. Grand entrance, darling.
Yes.
I'm fabulous.
Yes, fabulous.
Oh, we've got one more. Well, speaking of fabulousness, darling, it's time to look your best at the princess's engagement ball. Would you rather wear a Maison de Gorgonzola original, a vintage Dior, or a classic Gucci's?
I think I want to go vintage. I want to go vintage Dior.
Ooh.
I like a vintage look.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a Maison de Gonzola because I think she could make a bespoke couture just for me.
Ooh, yeah.
That would really suit my body shape. Vintage Dior I will not even get a big toe in that. Classic Gucci's, they'll look at me and do a Pretty Woman up and down look.
Yeah.
And I'll be forced to walk out. Whereas I think Lady Gorgonzola and Maison de Gorgonzola will look at me and go, I know exactly what I'm going to create for you, and then it'll be a masterpiece, and I'll just feel like a princess.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've thought about that question a lot.
Yeah. It's amazing. Okay.
Because I like the names Ched Dior and Gucci.
Okay. Favorite final thought quote?
There was a few. Okay. I swear to the gods, I will feed you to the ducks if you don't listen to me. Camembert! Oh, Feta. This one's Lady Gorgonzola. She's laying it into Brie. Think of everyone else in this kingdom who is in a situation like yours but has no power. Think of how many people might also get a chance at happiness if you decided to chase your own instead of playing it safe. They deserve better. You deserve better. And Cam deserves better.
Oh, it's so true.
Tell it.
So good.
Oh, I'm going to give you another Feta.
Okay.
Predictable little punk.
I love Feta.
And lastly, just bring me a continuous stream of sandwiches, Feta. There's no point in holding back anymore. I heartily agree with that sentiment. What have you got?
Okay. I've got an entire page worth.
Is it about butts?
It's about butts. Strike some poses. Show off that booty. You're doing great. Cam, that is no way to speak to a lady. Feta's not a lady. She's like family. She used to wash my bum when I was little. That makes it worse. Stop talking about butts. Never. I also really... It was not probably... I mean, it obviously was meant this way, but indeed, 2 balls back to back would be quite gauche. Oh, 2 balls. Balls.
Balls.
Balls.
And I've just highlighted one that I think you need to do as well.
Okay.
Because I think it's funny.
Well, technically speaking, I can have people beheaded for showing too much ankle, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
I would do it.
Same. Also, I really appreciate snitches get stitches. So good. This book is so good. Oh, and I also remember, Brie, you gotta come onto him very heavy. Pretty Boy's got a single cheese puff for brains. He won't get it unless you throw it in his face. I love cheese puff for brains.
See, again, they've got joycon, they've got switches and cheese puffs.
Yes. It's so good. Oh, and also, I'll wear the ugly sideburns. They're so itchy. Ugh.
My disguise is flawless. I liked it when you first see... Well, no, it's not when you first see Gorgonzola. It's when they go to see the vintage Ched Dior, and Gorgonzola's there with her glasses on. She just goes, "Sup."
Sup.
And Ricotta's just so relatable because it's it's time for brunch. Food!
Food. But then I also who eats before going to brunch?
That is such a good question. Who does eat before going to lunch?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But it might end up with a grilled cheese proposal. I sort of wish I had a grilled cheese proposal, but actually my proposal was really sweet and on top of a castle, so that's fine.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a special proposal. We just knew. We just knew that we were going to get married.
We knew,
so.
But he wanted his moment.
Yeah.
Even though he knew I was going to say yes, he was still shitting his pants.
That's adorable.
And I was shitting my pants because there was peacocks nearby.
Oh,
so.
That's terrifying. You hate birds. It's fine. Okay. If you liked this, try this. What are you going to suggest?
Okay, I am going to suggest a book that I unfortunately haven't had a chance to read, and the library does not have it.
Oh no, we need to make a request for it.
No. And it came up as part of I was actually looking on the libraries, if you like this, what would you recommend one as well, and then cross-check with Goodreads, blah blah blah. We have influenced the Goodreads algorithm, so it's not the best.
We have, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to use the algorithm in our favor now.
Yeah, but I found this one, and it's another graphic, and it's called The Pirate and the Porcelain Girl, and it's by Emily Riesbeck and Nora J. Barner, and these summaries from Goodreads. Our flag means death, winning, gets a magical sapphic twist in a swashbuckling young adult graphic novel adventure full of high-stakes adventure, fantastical creatures, and a swoony enemies to lovers' romance, perfect for fans of In Deeper Waters and the Prince and the Dressmaker. And it sounds like it would be good for people who like The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich as well. After hoping for a miracle, Farah instead watches her skin turn into delicate and dangerously breakable porcelain. Elsewhere, Brigantine de la Giorna is disgraced orc pirate captain, has her own problems. Penniless and banished from her home, Brig struggles to make ends meet with her crew as her only support. So, when a desperate Farah enlists Brig to sail her across the Great Sea to her ex-girlfriend's home for a very handsome fee, Brig is happy to strike a deal. pampered Farah and tough as nails Brig quickly butt heads, bickering their way across the high seas, but as they encounter increasingly perilous obstacles, including the gods themselves, the two become reluctant allies, and maybe more.
Maybe more.
Yeah, it sounded fun. It was a sapphic romance. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a mixture, and I was thinking that it was the way of the Regency mixed with like the modern Switch kind of element.
Yeah.
That really like stuck to me. And you know, Bree and Cam aren't enemies to lovers, but they have that kind of moment where it's the relationship is very uncertain.
Yes.
So yeah, I like the sound of it. And what have you got for us?
Okay. So mine that I am suggesting is called Donuts and Doom by Balas Lorenzi. And I had to choose it because it just sounds fantastic. And it's also vaguely food related.
Sold.
Also this first line, being a teenage witch. Hello, sold.
Yes.
Sold already.
Wow.
Being a teenage witch or rock star is tougher than it looks, but maybe enemies can become friends or more. Like yours. Flying brooms and electric guitars set hearts aflame in this fantastically fizzy graphic novel. And I'm going to tell you...
Tell me anything else, because this sounds amazing.
Right? I am telling you that I chose this summary because it is fantastically fizzy, and I don't know what that means, but I love it.
I need to read it just for fantastically fizzy.
Right? Okay.
Sold.
When Margot meets Elena, emotions run high, magic is in the air, and donuts float? One is a stressed-out witch trying to get her potions business off the ground. The other is a struggling rock musician whose band is going nowhere. Neither of them are having a good time. No wonder things quickly escalate from words to literal sparks flying when they first meet. Could this be the start of a delicious new relationship? Or is a bad luck curse leading them to certain doom?
Ooh, doom.
Curse!
Ooh, this sounds fun.
It sounds so good.
Excellent. Oh, do we have anything cheese related, sapphic related in our new and indie spotlight?
I had to choose Why Cheese by Ellen
Oh!
Mint.
Yes!
I had to choose it. I had to. Rock hard men in the sheets, delectable cheese in the streets. Book is ridiculous. Violet really walks into her great-uncle's abandoned cheese shop, then promptly runs back out. You would too if you discovered a secret basement hiding beneath a trap door. 1 second, there's nothing down there but cheese wheels in an old chest. The next, 4 naked men are chasing her out the door. Refusing to give up the $1 million property to her wild imagination, Violet returns the next day. Despite the place being ransacked, she's certain she made up those mysterious men who vanished inside a locked store. Then, as the sun sets, cheeses lying on piles of discarded clothing roll across the floor until they poof into the 4 men from last night. Men who transform into cheese. What the hell? This book is so good. These strange cheese shifters need Violet's help. They need someone to protect them when they're trapped as cheese by day. But after centuries of being screwed over by their caretakers, they're wary. Will Violet sell off the cheese shop and make off with millions, or risk the possibility of cheddar days for these cheesy men? haven't finished reading it yet, but it's ridiculous.
I've only read a little bit of it. But yeah, Ellen Mint, thank you, sent us.
Thank you so much
advanced
for
copies.
sending us those boxes full of cheese goodies.
The cheese goodies have gone down a storm. But yeah, I haven't read all of it. It's one of the I have to read it in between.
Right?
podcast books.
Yeah, you just pick it up.
So it's gonna
read a few pages.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I love the fact that she is and has been, because I've been following her social media with it as well. She's so self-aware that it is a ridiculous concept, but why the hell not?
Cheese shifters.
So, yes, cheese shifters.
That's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover.
You sounded so resigned. That's it. We can't beat that. We started with grilled cheese and we've ended with cheese shifters. What more can we give you?
There is nothing.
There is Patreon.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss This Delicious Death by Kayla Cottingham. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book. With cheese.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok and YouTube at Fictional Hangover. And find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fictionalhangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.